Be prepared to get inspired. Secure Development Lifecycle Lead Svetlana Gazizova. Do you hear the ovations from the arena? Hi, everybody. Does it work well? Yes. Works fine. Perfect. It's great that you remember that I am a chemist. And just recently I was telling the story about how I got into CyberSec. Like, H2O is not our call sign. C2H5OH is our call sign, so yeah, it's a great profession, and I'd be happy to share my stories. So my personal goal for today is to show you that we are humans, have our own life, we're good. It's cozy here and warm. I'll talk about the AppSec, about what's going on, and about the way we solve the issues that we encounter. And maybe I'll even tell you some stories, if we have time. I am Svetlana Gazizova. Here's my biography. Been put everywhere, especially for the way I look and the way I conduct information. For my whole life, I dreamt of being a scientist. I did chemistry, physics, went to contests, and even joined the chemistry university, but this all led me to joining IT, where I spent a lot of time working in development, system analysis, even being an architect. And then I moved to CyberSec. And that was a very final decision, because then the part of CyberSec I like the most is secure development. Let's talk secure development for the applications, things we like a lot. I will be using terms not from application security, but mostly from application quality and QA, because security cannot be separated from quality. Everything should work, okay, yeah, and that's obvious. I was showing that meme, I think, in the previous PhD days, explaining how to build zero trust in DevSecOps. And when I was gathering that, the most appealing for me was that I cannot stop learning new things. I start learning. I cannot stop. I need more and more. And I think there's many areas like that, but application security is definitely the area where the borders keep moving. And the more I know, the more I understand how little I know. There was a philosophical quote, but because I was kicked out of university specifically for not knowing philosophy, that's probably not my strongest part. But let me tell you how I got into AppSec. Of course it's good for the companies, it's good for everybody. And I keep telling why you would need it, why people would need it. We live in a digitized world where everything is automated, things work, a lot of systems, and I probably cannot even imagine a company that is not conducting their own development, be it internal products or market products. Yes, we need to sell something outside to the market. Anyways, you would have some development running, no doubt. And people around us are smart people. It's great because You would usually like and prefer to be among smart people. But the malicious actors are also smart, and their interest is in money. So this needs to be thought through. And maybe that's the reason why app security is of so much interest to me, because we need to invent new things very fast in ever-changing conditions. If you are interested in what I'm talking about and you don't want to throw it away from your head, and there's a community you can join to learn some new stuff. Let me tell you what I do in my workplace. Each time when I prepare the presentation, I start thinking, well, yeah, maybe actually I need to tell some other things. But today I changed my concept again, and we met a team that was coming with a visit, and the girl that's responsible for business development said, yeah, we have consulting. This is the question to Svetlana. We have processes and tools, which is also to Svetlana. And we can help you with trainings and education. And yes, this is again Svetlana. We have some machine learning and AI.
Это, говорит, тоже, в принципе, если нужно сделать безопасную разработку ML, в принципе, тоже, наверное, командирование.
И это, run the secure development, yeah, probably again, Svetlana.
Хоть как-то связано с безопасной разработкой. Вот.
So everything that has to do with secure development is
рядом со мной. Поэтому
near my domain.
Мне живется от этого интересно, да, и тут должна была такая седая старушка сказать, типа, все в порядке, мне всего
I have an interest in life.
Никак не сказывается. Но
I'm just 22, yeah.
Это реально прикольно, интересно, и мне очень нравится.
And I do like it.
Есть знак вопроса, да, который я хорошо, что он здесь есть, потому что мне очень сложно.
Do they have questions? Question mark here.
Того, чем я занимаюсь.
It's hard to
наверное, вот сейчас классических
define the scope of what I do.
Безопасной разработки мы с вами это.
But as a secure development specialist, let me show you and help you decompose
за безопасную разработку или, да, вот, ну, давайте уже говорить правильно, за просто хорошую, качественную разработку. Они в любом случае будут отвечать.
Secure software development, which is just high-quality software development, it's just how the way the software should be done everywhere. They think, you just need to create good code, but no, that's not true. Let's not define it this way. We need a person who would help us to create the correct processes, correct testing approach for our software, interaction between teams. And the question here is not about the development team that needs to be trained. It's about inter-team collaboration, working with business, working with the vendors, regulators. There are some in the cybersecurity world. What I like here the most is that you keep broadening the sphere, because as it appears, high-quality development saves your resources, and any resource that is effort is converted to money for the company. I was trying to tell this story about the economy and implementation, and I was speaking in a beautiful way. And I said, yeah, in the end, I said, I'm just a greedy person. I want to convert everything to money. So deciding to bring secure development to a company is a beautiful idea. But if you sympathize with it for some reason, get in touch. Moreover, Our wonderful specialists are responsible for the pipeline. I don't know what they told you before, what background you have, but we have a pipeline, and the application does not go directly to end user. It goes through some cycle. So the application security specialist working with security is building some instruments that would help him scan the code, test the security, assess the components, and understand whether they can be used. So we just split the application into modules and analyze its security. So this person will be responsible for vulnerabilities, for triage, for many things, tuning of those tools also. Because anybody, any tool that you use for development generates a lot of falses. You have 100,000 triggers that maybe would come to 1,000 real issues. So that should be done by people. Scanning results. This task is often separated from one person's functions because it requires a lot of effort. And I thought, it's not very interesting. You just look through reviews, right? Until I started seeing people coming to the interview and asking me, being a researcher, I would like to analyze those results and find what is true and what is not. Develop those practices. It was huge news for me. And I understood that I can learn a lot. Oftentimes, application security specialists would do penetration testing. Would be pen testers, they would do protection analysis or defense analysis, and that would mean a person would use his or her hands to reproduce what the malicious actor would do and break our application. It's a very important part. That's all often neglected. And people would say, everything is already invented. A penetration tester would find a lot of errors that could have been avoided if some intellectual effort was put into place. Or we can say, we chose the approach and let's just trust it all works. I felt it deeply when we decided that the application that was never pen tested is the same as you trying to, build a spaceship and by pictures and send it to space. It's an important part of the journey. Special people with special approaches. They do need to take part in it. The question that probably needs discussion. I think it's my 7th presentation in these 3 days, so sorry if I miss something. That's a good question. I'm sad that I'm being asked about it, but people keep asking me, how long will DevSecOps be a hype? I had a boss who kept telling me that you IT guys, you're just, a bubble. There's too many of you. and
актуальность сохраняется, на мой взгляд.
it's
Здесь
still
история
important.
еще более
So,
глубокая, потому что, смотрите,
the story here is even
мы
deeper.
вошли, вот, грубо говоря, да, в такой хайп, не знаю, application security, просто потому что
We are in the hype of application security because we are in a situation where it's needed. No one can do it. That's very sad.
наверное, об этом говорить. И
And
история
I don't think I can
усугубляется тем, что это
find other words. It's sad.
я очень люблю показывать
And
отчеты,
it's getting
они
worse.
прям
I like showing those reports
они
that
прям вот супер информативные и
are
красивые.
really informative
Такая
and beautiful.
замечательная как бы статистика
We have
ежегодная
statistics
это ребята выпускают отчетик
from OSSRA
уязвимостям в сторонних компонентах, то есть в библиотеках,
on the vulnerabilities of third-party components,
заимствованных других, да, компонентах и
other applications, libraries,
это вот грустная, печальная статистика 2023
and
года.
it's very sad.
Здесь, в принципе, отображено там процент кода, который является подобными
The
библиотеками.
percentage of code
Это сразу для всех компаний, которые говорят, что у них
that those libraries have,
вот просто посмотрите на процент.
especially with the companies that say they don't use such libraries.
Точнее, нет, примерно
It's about 80%.
кода в среднем. Это
80% of your code, on average,
там, не знаю, в целом процент
is third-party components.
которые там содержат какую-то уязвимость
So,
в open source компоненте.
if you have a vulnerability
То есть у нас
in the open source components, that's 84.
Но,
So you have like 16% for
и вот почему.
safe things, right?
У нас есть такая прикольная розовая линия. Вот
But there's another
я вам
important
её здесь покажу.
thing.
Это 48%.
Here's the rosy line.
Процент кодовых баз, в которых в open source
Look at this 48% number.
высокого уровня. То есть
This is the percentage of libraries that has critical and
да, типа вот
high importance bugs.
Что это такое? Ну это плохо. Ну типа значит, что через эту
What does it mean?
скорее всего,
Yeah, it's bad.
очень сильно расковыряют ваше
This is a vulnerability that can be used to destroy your application.
да, за который как бы вы
And,
платили, но
you'll have an unplanned pen test, but you will suffer, of
соответственно,
course.
статистика 24 года.
So here's the statistics for 2024.
Третий, может, я, может,
I don't know why
картинка такая.
it says 23. Maybe it's the wrong picture.
Ее перерисовали. Хотя, возможно,
They even redrawn it.
не меняли. Я вставила, как есть в отчете. Процент
So I
кодовых
would
баз, которые
probably
содержат
have them
высокого
keep it
уровня,
as is.
повысился. И ладно бы он
The
чуть-чуть
percentage of
с 48
code
до
bases
74.
that have
Это, ну,
critical
давайте говорить
vulnerabilities
почему.
has increased
Это, по-моему,
nearly
подчеркивает нам то, что мы
2 times.
еще более
So this shows that the level of
Если вы посмотрите
protectedness
какие-то другие отчеты,
is even higher.
есть их очень много.
If you look at
Например,
other
недавно
reports,
выпустили ребята из Веракод.
as many of them,
По отраслям.
like Veracode
И
guys,
там очень интересно. Мне понравилось
issued a
именно
report
кусочек отчета, связанный
industry by
с
industry. There's a nice part about medicine,
с здравоохранением, да, медицинская отрасль, приложения в медицине
healthcare,
и уязвимости в них.
applications in healthcare.
Прям, видно, как вот такая, знаете,
They
великолепная,
show
где типа все превратилось в какую-то беду.
a graph where everything is terrible in the beginning of 2020.
Помню как бы эпоху такой, не то, что не
And I thought I will never remember the epoch of COVID when we have the pandemic. And now,
нас это просто загнало в какие-то ограничения, да, нам пришлось все быстро цифровизировать, чтобы люди
we had a lot of limitations and issues.
меньше в помещениях сидели. И как бы это очень показательная история, я прям очень рекомендую вам его.
But this is a very telling story. I very much recommend you to have a look at this report.
Хороший тоже, наверное, вопрос, на который, мне
Why did it
кажется,
happen?
будет какой-то свой ответ.
Good question. I think everybody would have their own answer. My version
В прошлом
is that if you go back
да,
to the past,
там ухудшение в целом по сути кода.
you'll see the situation worsening and the code getting less secure, because everything we inherit, everything we take, goes into the application. It becomes less secure.
Нанести нам больше урон. Это плохо.
We can break it faster and damage faster.
Топ-10, который
But
обычно
if you look at Avast Top 10,
в 2017 году, который выпускали, и в 2021, если вы посмотрите, то по сути
2017, 2021,
позиции вышли уязвимости, ну,
the leading positions are taken by the vulnerabilities
возможно, это уязвимости
that are just,
вот, как любили говорить
lazy. They have just laziness as a reason. As my colleagues have said, somebody got stupid. But I think it also shows us an important story of development getting faster and faster and losing focus on cybersecurity. We don't have time being developers. We don't have time to focus on it. And either your company doesn't have it or you don't want to use it. And this becomes an issue. Both the application and the teams. I like to repeat it, but classic security is about reactive protection, about not letting the hacker into the infrastructure. And application security, DevSecOps, is something more preventive in our head, because firewall is about breaking the application, but secure code, you need to provide it now. And when it comes to production, there's a lot of time passing. So this is an important point that I want to highlight and ensure it's in your heads, because if we don't do that preventive defense that may look not so valuable, if we are constantly quenching fires, it's definitely something we are doing wrong. If we always quench fires, we will never achieve a situation where everything is fine.
Number three, it's less influential than all the other ones, but still, secure development may be underestimated or overestimated. Here's this meme saying that it's so easy. You just explain it, it runs so smoothly. Very often I see it's overestimated, over-evaluated, and people say, oh, it's too complicated, it's too difficult. People say, I'm just a tester, what do you expect from me? And people say, okay, application security is not so difficult, it's no more difficult than testing of the apps. It's somehow in the scope of the intellectual jobs. Today, these guys and I had a kind of an experiment. We have a secure development track in Phobos and Deimos. In Phobos, we had a workshop day, so that was the purpose, that we would have no single person left who would say, it's difficult. We made all of the presentations the way that the people leave the presentation saying, okay, I can try myself here. It's good. It was a good experiment. We were planning to call 50 people, but 170 people turned up. Nobody even wanted to go and relax on Saturday evening. Instead, everybody started learning. So it's not so difficult. It's a great task, which you can also pursue in your daily life, just to dissolve some routine from you. Where should you belong in the classic development? I decided to put all of the trump cards on the table. I think I should have split this slide into a few parts. It's very hard to imagine just one stage of the development where there is no room for security. The closer we are getting to the operate monitor, the closer we are to the edge, to the production. If something happens, that's really bad. Roughly speaking, from that moment on until the planning phase, when we actually join the development team and see, let's just check out the libraries you are using. Let's just check out the basic architecture. What about authentication? How did you establish this? Probably it will help us eradicate a lot of problems. Going back to this delegation, that visit, and the word remediate was used there. My colleague used this. I really liked that. People said that we will remediate these risks for you. I really liked the way it sounded. Those were the associations. So approximately, it took me 4 minutes to write it up. So I had approximately 45 seconds left, and I had put there what the secure development expert can do, and somebody else, the application security tasks. I was not actually getting deep into that, but I think it was a sizable list that I was able to come up with. So it answers this question where we need application security. We need this everywhere. So once we started actually feeling that we need to do that, till the servers go to the garbage bin, to the dump site, we need to embrace this cycle and keep on doing that. Now I'm going to say a few words about what happens if we don't have it in place. Obviously, everybody likes threatening stories. Here's the vulnerability I wouldn't want to recall, and it celebrated 2.5 years anniversary. It was in the end of 2021. There's Loop4j library with a loophole, with a touching upon the embedding into the developer's contour. And this story actually was doubled, and it's currently duplicated in the 2 tracks. First of all, there was a critical vulnerability which could damage a lot of things. So the people that used those tools that would help you find out about such stuff, like the component analysis tools, they would have immediately sent an alert to an email, and everybody would rush there to fix it. It just sprang up in 4 hours, so people really needed to act fast. And people still are being tortured by that. I guess those people who are somehow involved in the Java stacks development are aware of that, but it's not true. Somebody was breached through Log4j. And the second part of this story is about common sense. There were companies that found out that they have this vulnerability in the library, and they stopped the business activities, so the company would be losing the money till they were fixing that. It's not quite clear why they were fixing this module when they did not get the bit with the vulnerability. They could beautifully wrap it up in a patch, and they'd continue work of the company without stopping it. The next story is very close to MLC Cops. We spoke about that yesterday. People say that we protect the ML models and the pipeline embedding. Oh, here's the delegation with QR codes. Seems like that need to take a pause and take a glance. Well, it looks really cool. Oh, it feels like Yuri Gagarin's coming back to Earth, being waved at. Anyway, jokes aside, this is the repository with LLMs, GPTs, and this repository was not protected. So absolutely every smart intruder could do something with the model, put it back, and all the other people who would like to exploit it, use it, actually encountered very, very bad consequences. It was a famous, or maybe notorious, foreign repository. As soon as the precedent happened, there was a need to protect it. So that problem was tackled and resolved. The next story is all about the money. So I very much like saying that high-quality development actually brings the company, makes the company earn more, The better the company lives, the better your team lives. So the group crashed. There was some financial crash. The company did not close, but the damage done from the reputation risks amounted to $2 billion. It's a hell of a lot of money. And I didn't even touch 2 billion rubles, but $2 billion, I can't even imagine. It's great worth of money that is lost, that it could have been avoided had they used just one simple rule that they could have detected that by. It wouldn't have happened. There are a lot of reports analyzing this vulnerability. United Falls Group, the breach history, the hack history, something like that. Google it and you'll find it. It was interesting for me to read, so that it's nice that that cybersecurity, information security become more popular and more people learn about it beforehand, so they can mitigate the risks beforehand. There were plenty of stories like that. Steam hack, for example. We've heard about all of them, and it did not lead to losing money, but it led to the loss of data. Imagine you're losing the database of the medical records, your registrations, your taxi orders, whatever. We, the application security experts who do application development nice and neat, just to make sure that your private life is also protected with all of the apps you run on your mobile phone. I'll explain it in a simple language to my mom. She asks, "What do you do?" And I say, "Mom, you go to the bank online bank, and you need to make sure that the money is not stolen from you, because some of our guys have taken care of that." It helps everyone. If someone like that, obviously, I wouldn't want to scare anyone with this story of mine. If it brings something to you, if it creates something nice in your heart, it would be very nice to find out. You can learn these things. There are courses, training courses. There are lots of vendors who specialize in that. We were the organizers of this special track. We had staged the course based on the Moscow Technical University basis. So we started that course from scratch to pro. If you don't know anything about that, please join us and we'll teach you. There are lots of portals where you can find this information. We have the open source Wikipedia. We started that, and nowadays it's called Horde. It's called Horde, Cyberarda, Cyber Yoke, something like that. So you can check this out and try and break some of the apps there, safely play a role of hacker, get interested, and maybe do something more profound afterwards. Another interesting thing, which is underestimated. Some people don't really want to go to work because they don't know much about that, but it never happens. You can't know nothing. You know something, you have some skills, and you can apply them. If you would like to join application security, you can do that. You can select your specialization. If you want to use your existing background as a business analyst, go for it. Nice analysts turn out from business analysts, and the testers can turn into application testers because they think the same, and it always adds. So it's very difficult to imagine a module which would be absolutely irrelevant with what the people do. If you take a look at my team, there's a bunch of different people here. Some people were cybersecurity architects. Some people specialized in ML. We are so different, but we still find some common grounds where we make our applications better, safer, and sound. So here is the QR code. At the moment when I was handling this presentation, everything worked. We have certification courses. There are 3 paid ones, and it's shown there that they are commercial ones. All the other ones are free of charge. If you would like to get a free of charge TI analyst certificate, go there and pick it up. So please multiply good things. And we would like to tell you a nice story. I don't have much time left, so I think in the end I should say a few words about... by the way, this is mine. I have this one at work. I like Donald Duck. I like ducks, the way they look. I really very much like to use it as a mascot of our application sec trend. It's a small goose, so it was brought from Goose Krustalny. It's made of China, so it's become an unofficial mascot of ours. AppSec is for everyone. Everyone needs AppSec, not only in Moscow, in Russia and everywhere. In April, I had 4 business trips. 4 of them were to different countries. So I keep on traveling. I keep on doing something beyond my geographical location. So I think what's important, if someone would speak about the sanctions and whether we are needed elsewhere, yes, we are. We are needed elsewhere, and we are needed here and there. So I'm wrapping it up. What I would like this to happen, I've explained. Take care.